What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube. And today I've got another edition of The Drive-In, where I review recently released movies and tell you guys whether they're worth watching, worth waiting for, or worth skipping altogether. Today I've got my first 2021 release, I believe, of this year. It is 2021's much talked about horror comedy Slaxx. Now, I know what you're thinking. This movie came out officially in 2020 at the Fantasia Film Festival, a film festival that I love that is known for releasing really good movies, but it officially debuted in the U.S. outside of festivals, I think a week or so ago on Shudder in 2021. So although this first came out in 2020, it's not been made available to the public really until 2021, which is when I can consider this movie. You guys know I love doing Shudder originals on this channel. I love Shudder. Slaxx got a lot of positive feedback for being a crazy over-the-top horror comedy at Fantasia. I've heard a lot of my contemporaries talk about it, so I wanted to watch it. It just came out like a week or so ago on Shudder, and I wanted to review it here. 2021's Slaxx. I'll get into why I enjoyed this overall in a little bit. I will say the movie runs a pretty svelte hour and 17 minutes. It's only 77 minutes. Really quick movie. About an hour and 15 plus credits. Very, very quick. Runs quickly. Fast paced. So if you like a nice quick movie, I think it'll do it for you. I will say this: if you don't like crazy premises, you might not like this movie because it does kind of break the realm of realism. But I will talk about it in a second. This film was directed by Elza Kephart, who is best known for her art department work on some of the X-Men movies, I believe. She also did other background crew stuff on, I think, The Mummy as well. So Elza Kephart here. I think she's directed 2 other films. This is the first one of hers that I've seen. This film was also written by Kephart and Patricia Gomez, and starring Romaine Dennis as Libby McLean. Now, Libby, basically the premise of this movie is that Libby wants to work at this like aristocratic elite fashion store. Basically, they're known for their fashion-forward trends and all this, their eco-friendly clothing, and their very aristocratic, high-priced nature. So she goes to work at the store because she wants a discount on her clothing, and also just because it's like a dream job for her to work at this place. So it very much reads, all the characters read as these socialite, aristocratic, over-the-top characters. Libby goes to work for this place, and she finds out that basically there's a pair of killer Slaxx jeans running around killing people, and we've got to figure out why. I won't do any spoilers in the early part of this review. I will save my spoilers for the end because it's a brand new movie. So the first part of this review is spoiler free. I will warn you guys ahead of time when I get into spoilers. So basically Libby is trying to work at this fashion forward aristocratic place, and there are killer jeans running around killing people in brutal ways, and you've got to figure out what the heck is going on, and can Libby bring a good-natured personality here to try and save the day. Again, some of the things I enjoyed about this. Horror comedies for me are always hit or miss, but you can make any horror comedy feel more realistic when you explain the premise, and they did that in this movie. It took a while, but in the last third of this movie, they explain exactly what's going on, which makes some of the silliness kind of go away. They give this a backstory. They give it an explanation. Again, if you like horror comedies, I think you'll like this because it is fun, it is fast-paced, it's over the top. If you don't like unrealistic premises that couldn't really happen in real life, that are kind of very jump-the-sharky and kind of leap in logic a little bit, you won't like this movie, but I think that because of the explanation of why it's happening, I think it makes it work. One of the things, too, that stands out in this, there's really good gore. I will talk about gore in both the positive and negative sections in this review, but I really enjoyed the gore. For being a pair of Slaxx with no actual person attached to them, there's some pretty creative kills. There's only so much you can do with a pair of Slaxx, but I like the way these jeans are killing people. There's some different kills in this movie, considering it's just a piece of clothing, and that they mix it up. They do some different creative kills, and they show some good gore. I really like some of the gore in this film. Also, to keep in with the gore aspect, there are some good long takes in this film. The way it's shot is really cool. You see a couple of long static shots that hold onto things. For gore, you see a couple shots of like the logos of the jeans and blood trickling down the walls, and just like they hold on some of these gory shots to give it effect for character and for the bloody aspect for horror fans. I really like those long shots. They're stylized, and they're funny because they hold on for quite a while, and some of the imagery in general with killer jeans is just funny in general. But it's done in such a way that not only is funny but has an impact. The shots have an impact in the film. Also, the lighting in this film overall is very good. I didn't get a chance to write down the lighting people's names, but there are just some stuff with like long hallway shots where the colors change. The store lighting and stuff goes in and out. The power goes in and out, so you get some emergency light changes. You get some darker stuff when they're going down some of these hallways. I like the way it's lit. It's lit darkly, but it's lit so you can still see it. And I like the use of colors later in the film when the tension gets ratcheted up. Whenever the film hits that third act, you start seeing color changes reflect the mood changes of the characters. Very intricate. Not a lot of people would notice that, but I really enjoyed that overall. Also, again, to get back to the story, this could easily have been something very stupid like Killer Gingerbread Man or the Killer Couch movie, Killer Sofa. Nothing against those movies. They're fun, but you don't really get exactly why these things are happening, or at least not until it's kind of too far gone and the premise has already been missed a little bit. In this movie, you do get a coherent story, even if it is one that is a little over the top. So I really enjoyed that. A couple of the negative things and the negative aspects. One more positive. I want to say Romaine Dennis, as Libby did a really nice job with some strong acting, taking this unbelievable premise and making it believable. The whole cast did a good job with what they were given. I just thought that Libby McLean, Romaine Davis, did a really nice job in portraying this main character. I really enjoyed her work. I think she's done 3 or 4 other films as well, but this is the first one that's gotten into the social consciousness in the horror community. I really enjoyed that. A couple negatives. I thought the caricatures were the biggest thing for me. I get that this is supposed to be like a socialite, kind of poking fun at Los Angeles and some of these upper trendy boutiques. I get that it's meant to be caricatures because you're making fun of these characters because they're just very superficial with their big wide smiles and just like ridiculous premises. But I thought the caricatures were a little bit too caricature-y, if that makes any sense in this. There's really no one to root for. Even kind of in the end, we find out a little bit of superficiality from Libby's character. It kind of gives you no one to root for. You kind of like Libby, but the rest of them you don't like at all. And there's character flaws abound. So not only are they overly scripted caricatures, but they're also unlikable for the most part. So you're kind of rooting for these genes to kill people, which I guess is the point. Again, you're not supposed to like these characters, so I guess they did their job in that aspect. But I was finding myself wanting a few more people to root for. Even whenever you get a bad job or a superficial company, you always find a couple relatable people, coworkers you could like, and people that agree with you that it's ridiculous. You don't have a lot of that in this movie. Couple of nods to some racism here. Doesn't bother me because it was done in a way that was like pointing out the racism, the character traits. It was kind of made to be a funny thing. Gotta say, even though I pointed out the gore in the positive section, this could have used more gore. I thought sometimes they could have lingered on the gore a little more, even though they did do a lot of it. I would have liked to have seen a couple times they cut away or they just showed blood in the background or blood spurting, which looked great. I would have liked to have seen the actual kill. Also, considering this was a slasher film, even though you're limited with what you can do with amount of characters and the genes, I would have liked to have seen more kills. We did get a bunch of like group kills and group slashes together, but you really don't see them. And a couple of times you do see the kills, they cut away before you can really see anything. So I would have liked to have made these genes even stronger as an antagonist. That's ridiculous to say. I would have liked to have seen these genes be more of an antagonist by showing more kills on screen, creating more characters that you want to kill, if you're going to do it that way. Now to get into spoilers real quick. First, I will say this movie overall for me, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't mean to sound that very low. I just think that for me, horror comedies are hit or miss, especially over the top ones. But again, in spite of the unlikable characters, in spite of the caricatures that are a little over telegraphed, and in spite of cutting away from some of the gore with limited premises, I did like this film. It's paced fast. All the actors did their job well. I think it's well directed. I think it points out some of the flaws with the background characters. It is explained well, and the gore that's in this is done well. So overall, 6 out of 10, better than average. I really enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing what Elsa Kephart has to do in the future, and also Romaine Dennis. I liked her a lot. So looking forward to the future of these people. Spoiler alert here. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it first. One of my spoilers goes into the negative. It ends up basically that the genes are killing people because early on in the film, in the first shot, you see, I want to say an Indian woman. I believe they're Indian. An Indian girl doing slave labor for this store, and she dies doing slave labor for them in their slave labor camps. So basically, the young children that were killed doing slave labor for this store come back, re-embody, replace their spirits in these genes, which is why they're killing the workers of the store. So they do give it a good reason, and they do flash back and show those flashbacks. But in the end, we find out Libby is trying to get the gene girl, the spirit, to tell her story, to release them. The genes still wind up killing everybody, even after she says she'll tell their story and help them. The genes kill everyone anyway, and Libby dies as well. She gets knocked over in a crowd, bangs her head, bleeds out, and she dies. So in spite of being offered to be helped, the genes still kill everyone, and the main character still dies. So it kind of ends on a big downer, especially for a crazy horror comedy. So that's going to be a negative as well. But overall, again, good story, good acting, good lighting, solid camera work, and a fun, quick-paced premise. I'm going to give this film a 6 out of 10. What did you guys think if you've seen it? Tell me in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. I've got a few other 2020/2021 movies I'm reviewing this week or in the coming weeks as well. I try and put out one video a week on this channel for reviews and other things. So please check me out, like, share, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments what you thought of this film, and tell me what other films from this era you'd like me to review. Thank you very much. Take care. I'll see you soon.